because I have had a lot of people express interest in this, and because I've had a lot of questions, I'm going to do this really fast. This is to help you prepare for Monday's class. So on Monday, you are going to need to have your data downloaded and in SPSS, hopefully cleaned, is what Dr. Walker said. I'm going to walk you through what that's going to look like. So come here to Qualtrics. This is in another video, so I'm just going to go quick. As soon as it opens, you come to whatever project you want. I assume most of you will only have one, which is great. You go to Data and Analysis, go to Export and Import, Export Data, SPSS right there, download. It makes it, it brings it to you in a zipped folder. I'm just going to put it in my downloads. Then show in folder. I'm going to right click, extract all. And that's going to put it right here. And then there's your SPSS file. Okay. I'm actually going to be using a different one that I got from one of you. It's up here. This civic engagement one is the one I'm going to be using for this tutorial. So then I come here, apps.byu.edu. Again, if you just do this, if you're on one of the Kimball Tower computers, so on Monday, you'll just be able to open it up straight. But since I'm on my laptop, and I assume you will be too until Monday, you come here, apps.byu, open up SPSS. Yours might open it in a tab, which is fine, it works the same way. Or it might ask you to download a few things, I don't remember exactly. Okay, so then you come here, it opens this up, you can just close that, doesn't matter. File, open, data, find out wherever your downloads are. Here, I'm just going to go here. So wherever you have saved it, that's where it's going to be. Mine is in my downloads. So then I open it, and it has this. It has start date, end date, status, all this stuff that you probably won't need. And then it has stuff like this. This doesn't tell you much. So I'm going to expand this label so I can see the question. Sex. All right. So I'm going to change this, double click, and type in X. Same thing here. I'm going to do age. This is religion. And this one, I think I'm just going to save that as religion underscore text. All these variable names need to have one word. That's the first step of cleaning, is going through and changing all of these. Now those were easy because they don't belong to anything and they're pretty obvious. When it comes down to this, please indicate how well the statement describes you. I'm going to come here and I'm just going to delete that half of the question because I don't feel like it's that useful in understanding things. Okay. So that's another thing that you could do in cleaning, is you could come and take the stem, the repetitive part of every question, out. But that's not really necessary. None of this cleaning stuff is really necessary until we get to the scale creation. All right, so I'm just going to call this scale 1. I've already done that for these down here. Oh, no, I haven't. So, for example, these ones, if these were like the ethic of autonomy, then I would go autonomy 1, and then autonomy 2. You can name this whatever you want as long as it's one word. It doesn't matter what you name it as long as it makes sense to you. If I was doing something about the ethics, then I would name all of them ethic 1, 2, 3. I would separate them out into the ethic of autonomy scale and the ethic of community or divinity scale. And then once I've got this all done, this is where you're going to create your scales, which creating your scales is one of the most important things you can do before Monday. So I'm going to go to transform. Well, okay, so first, what happens, this is not the case with this one, but what happens if you have to reverse code an item? Here, I'm going to come over to this values section, and I'm going to click on this side of the box, and it brings up that this was a 1 through 5 scale, okay? And this is autonomy 3. So I'm going to go to transform, recode into different variable. I'm going to right click here to display variable name. I'm going to find autonomy 3 and move it over. Then I'm going to give it another name like autonomy 3 reverse code. Reverse code of autonomy 3. Click change, old and new values. A reverse code is when you take a 1 and turn it into a 5. You take the lowest number and turn it into the highest number. Add a 2 and a 4. You could also do 3 into 3, which is not that interesting, but 4 into 2 and 5 into 1. Again, that's recode into different variable. Continue. Okay. Now, here on my variable view, if I scroll down to the bottom, I see autonomy 3 reverse code that I have now created. And that took all the values of autonomy here in your data view. You could go look at them. All the values of autonomy 3 and reverse coded them. Now, if I want to create a scale, then I go to compute variable. I give it a scale like autonomy ethic. I'm going to type in mean, open parentheses. Again, come over here, display variable names, find all the items of your scale. I'm going to double click, that brings it over, and then I'm going to put a comma in between each one. You could also single click and move it over, comma, and I don't want to do autonomy 3 because that one I needed to reverse code. So I'm going to come down here and double click, and then close parentheses. Okay. So now if I come here, I have autonomy ethic. I didn't put a label in, so now I'm going to say ethic of autonomy mean. Whatever you want, doesn't matter. So that's how you clean, reverse code, and create a scale. The more clean your data is, so changing all these variable names and taking out all these obnoxious things here, like all this extra stuff here, and then creating all the scales. So if you have multiple scales, mindfulness, ethic of community, ethic of autonomy, ethic of whatever, or some emotion scale, civic engagement, creating all of those, having them ready for Monday, and then clicking save. Having them ready for Monday will make everything go a lot easier. So please do that before Monday morning. Thank you. Enjoy. Also, good luck with the test. You're going to do great.